Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Hello everyone, my name is Mahia Biasa Sapila from the ICT class TPI, and in this video, I'm going to share a book I've been reading for my final exam assignment. The title of this book is The Characteristic of Effective Learning, Creating and Capturing the Possibilities in the Early Years by Annie Woods. The book focuses on how children learn most effectively, especially through play, interest, and emotional connection. There are 8 chapters in the book, and I will explain each one briefly to help you understand how powerful early childhood learning can be. So first is Chapter 1. Children are naturally playful. In the first chapter, Annie Woods emphasized that play is not just an activity, it's the foundation of how children understand the world. Children naturally explore, experiment, and express themselves through playful actions. She explains that when children are given the freedom to play, they become confident learners. And then, for example, a children stacking block is not just playing. They are learning about balance, space, and problem solving. Educators are encouraged to value play as a serious, powerful part of learning. This chapter reminds me that we must never underestimate the learning that happens when children are simply having fun. And then on the chapter 2, exploring children's well-being and motivations. Chapter 2 divides into emotional well-being and motivation. Woods explained that children learn best when they feel emotionally secure, valued, and encouraged. If a child feels anxious or disconnected, they are less likely to engage deeply with learning. She also talks about intrinsic motivation, how children naturally want to explore and make sense of their world. As educators of future teachers, we need to create environments where children feel safe, supported, and excited to learn. For example, giving children choices in what they do can make them feel more respected and motivated. Next is Chapter 3. Creating effective learning possibilities for all children. In this chapter, Woods highlights the importance of inclusion and designing learning opportunities for every child, regardless of their background or ability. She emphasized the importance of child-centered planning, which means listening to what children are interested in and tailoring activities to them, rather than forcing children into a fixed curriculum. The educator's role is to create environments and possibilities like materials, spaces, and routines that invite learning. It's a reminder that learning doesn't always look like sitting at a desk. It might be messy, noisy, or unexpected, and that's okay. It's Chapter 4. Children's Engaging Interest. This chapter is one of my favorites because it focuses on how powerful children's natural interests are. Woods explains that when a child is fascinated by something like bugs, water, or even paintings, that's where the deepest learning can happen. Rather than interrupting that by curiosity, educators should observe closely, identify those interests, and then build learning activities around them. For example, if a child loves dinosaurs, the teacher could provide dinosaurs books, counting games with dinosaurs figures, or drawing session. This chapter shows that learning is most effective when it starts with something the child already loves. Now it's chapter 5, Playing with Thinking. Woods connect play with critical thinking. Play is not just physical, but it's also mental. She describes how through play, children make decisions, solve problems, and develop their own theories about how the world works. For example, when a child pretends to run a restaurant, they are practicing planning, communication, math, and more without even realizing it. Woods encourage adults to recognize these moments of deep thinking and offer gentle support, like asking open-ended questions. Why did you do that? Or what do you think will happen next? It shows us that play is serious thinking in disguise. The next chapter is chapter 6. Guiding children's participation. In chapter 6, Wood talks about the adult role, not to control learning but to guide and support it. She introduced the idea of scaffolding, which means helping just enough to move a child forward without doing everything for them. For instance, if a child is building a tower that keeps falling, instead of saying, "Do it this way," the educator might ask, "What do you think would make it stronger?" This way, the child remains in control of their learning journey, but they still feel supported and challenged. Chapter 7. Sustained Shared Conversation. This chapter focuses on the power of meaningful dialogue between adult and child. Wood calls this sustained shared thinking, where both the adult and child contribute to a conversation that stretches their understanding. Rather than just giving answers, educators ask questions that prompt thinking, "Why do you think that happened?" Or "What could we try next?" It shows respect for the child's ideas and encourage deeper reflection. These moments of dialogue are often the most valuable learning experiences, and they help build strong emotional connections too. And then the last chapter is chapter 8, Capturing the Possibilities. The final chapter is about documenting learning in thoughtful ways. Woods encourages educators to go beyond credits or test scores and instead focus on observation, photos, stories, and reflections that capture a child's progress. It's about understanding the process of learning, not just the product. For example, noticing how a child solved a problem or how their confidence grew over time is just as important as what they built or do. This chapter encourages us to slow down, pay attention, and celebrate learning in all its forms. So, reading this book is truly changed the way I view early learning. It reminds me that children are capable, curious, and creative by nature. As a future educator, I want to be someone who respects their voice, supports their ideas, and builds a learning environment that lets them thrive. And Wood shows us that effective learning is not about strict instruction, but about relationship, play, interest, and trust. Thank you so much for listening. I hope this inspired you the way it inspired me. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.